Hi, I'm Nick, but before I begin today's fun-filled lecture, I end every term that I teach with 2 questions about the material we covered. I'm going to answer those questions right now. The answer to the first question from the class material last quarter was, his black hat would have been better for the demonstration of his theory, but it being summer, the black was packed. And the second answer is, it is like eating your own brain when there are no fresh flowers. We heard the story of the several rises and falls of ancient Babylon. Babylon the Great, we learned, was known then, if not now, as the comedy central of the Middle East. We heard how a highly esoteric and ultimately well-funded society of humorists, known now as the ancient Babylonian comics, were behind and in the end at the front of the greatest days of that great city. Many writers and thinkers, or vice versa, of those days have debated for centuries as to how this Babylon could have risen and fallen so many times. How could the most modern and fun city of those days, no doubt rivaling Paris, Mexico, or Tijuana, France, simply have disappeared from the scene? And what became of the ABCs?
Hello, 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 hello.
The question of what really happened to the ABCs has at least 2 possible answers, neither of which answer the question itself, but rather pose questions of their own, which question the asking of the question. These questioning answers are, in order of credibility: 1. Did anything happen to the ABCs? And 2. Are the ABCs now, or have they ever been, real? There are, of course, some scholars, and many more non-scholars, who question the very scholarship of giving these questions the dignity of calling them scholarly questions. But for the investigators in Surprise University's Babylon Studies Department, these questions are not a problem. In fact, they are just plain irrelevant. That's because researchers at SU are not concerned with reality vis-a-vis their research. Reality is already itself doubted, and so are any explanations trying to support the reality of reality.
What is reality?
And we're not afraid of it, are we?
Eat it!
This convenient way of avoiding the question of the reality or non-reality of reality, some would say, implies that all scientific research, even that in the field of history, is impossible. But since Surprise University provides the majority of funding for the present program, we are in a unique situation among our peers at other institutions. We are left in the enviable position of being able to develop any theories of history which we care to, without regard to the facts. And although these statements may seem alarming to the average follower of scientific research, they may rest assured that this policy, coming as it does from the institution itself, is not that of most of the researchers I know in the various departments of SU. Statements by Oval Rubber and Ben Simple have assured scientists here that respect for the scientific method surpasses any doubt about it. In this way, university authorities have put a firewall between outside criticism and those scientists. The ancient Babylonian comics, or ABCs as we have come to think of them, seem to have many things in common with famous groups who are known to have their origins in secret societies, or perhaps may themselves be secret societies still, even if in name only. These are not limited to the likes of the Freemasons, nor even of the benevolent and protective order of elves, or the mason jars, who are particularly interested in changing peanut butter into jam. For instance, the ABCs, under a cloak of secrecy, published the Book of Comics, the main document which has come down to us. The Book of Comics, also referred to as How to Prepare and Maintain a Comedy Routine for the Complete Idiot. Many modern comics still rely on it, and carry worn and torn copies of the last known edition. I would wager that this allegiance does not include the modern Babylonian comics, who claim a higher authority in these matters, namely the Book of Comics, also sometimes called How to Write and Rehearse a Comedy Routine for the Complete Idiot. Perhaps the viewer begins to see how quickly the fabric of science can unravel if it is not machine washed on gentle and air dry. Hi, this is Nick. The Babylon boys, Greg and Nolan, carry a lot of weight at Surprise University, everyone knows that. And they've been getting a lot of heat lately from the media for their statements that they are the gods of the Babelverse. And I guess anyone has a right to say that who's a creator. What do we call God but the creator? So there's no real conflict in our minds here at SU about that. So we don't have any problem with considering whether the Babylon boys have the right to call themselves the gods of the Babelverse. It's just that there's not any real evidence that we can dig up. We're in terms of being researchers, we can't really research the Bab boys very well because they're slippery, and they will change their story to fit the situation, which is pretty much what most writers do. Or else if you told the same story all the time, it would get to be a pretty boring career as a writer. So we accept that, and the fact is that no one appreciates and actually respects anyone as much as we do the B-boys. And we'll be talking more about that. The whole point of this lecture was to get across the idea that the Babylon boys are the receptacles of the knowledge and combined downloaded wisdom of the ancient Babylonian comics. And here again, this is just something that the research department here cannot handle. We might suggest that you offer it to the home economics. Just kidding. Just kidding. I love Greg and Nolan.